All right, so today we're going to talk about Uranus in astrology. What does he mean on that fundamental level, both in the natal chart and in transit? And essentially, we're in a very important part of these lessons because we're now in the trans-Saturnian planets, which are very important for predictive work. So for those of you going through significant times, you might want to look to see if you've got any Uranus, Neptune, or Pluto transits, because they could be very significant for you. But they're also very important in the natal chart, mostly if they're forming an aspect to a personal planet like the sun or the moon, and in the house placement. So that particular house that the trans-Saturnian planet is in can be quite significant in that particular way. So up to this point, it's been everything up to Saturn, which is everything you can see with the naked eye, which is another element of it, is that these trans-Saturnian planets are very deep. They're very unconscious, very subconscious aspects of the self. And one thing about Uranus is that he's the first of the planets that we discovered, that we had to use technology to see. And up until that point, we thought we had the whole solar system mapped out. We thought we knew the whole picture. And so that's one aspect of Uranus. It's about revolutionary change, how we can see things in a new perspective, how we can see things in a way that we didn't see before. It's a very intuitive planet and very eccentric. If you look at Uranus as an actual planet, he's tilted on his side. He's got a very unique characteristic about him. So he also represents where we have this eccentricity about ourselves. So that particular house and in that particular way, which would be the sign characteristic. So you can see that. You can see where the individual is perhaps progressive, again, going towards that technological aspect of it, where we have innovation, and perhaps most notably, where we want to have freedom. The mid-1700s was a big revolutionary time for freedom, all the way through the late 1700s. So that was mapping out, in many ways, our discovery of Uranus, synchronistically with what was happening on Earth at that time. So with eccentricity, there comes individuality. And with individuality, there has to be freedom. So it's kind of the chain of events here with Uranus, but it does end with freedom, where it's important for us to have freedom, in which area and in which way, which is the sign characteristic. And because it's a very deep planet, I want to say too that it's important to bring extra attention to working with it. It's not as easy as like sun and moon, which just comes very natural. Here, in order to do it in a healthy way and in a balanced way, we do have to bring extra attention to that, especially if Uranus is in a square or opposition sort of aspect. So the other aspect of this too is that Uranus and Neptune are polarities. Again, very deep aspects of the self. Uranus is much more active and masculine in the nature, whereas Neptune is more receptive and feminine, which we'll talk about next. So here the active nature is to change, is to revolutionize, but also to give and contribute. For very good reason, Uranus was associated with Aquarius in astrology and is considered the modern ruler of Aquarius. And if you look at Aquarius, Aquarius is pouring the water out for everyone to drink, right? For the collective, for the community, for society. So Uranus can also show us where we have that inspiration, where we have that excitement to give and to share and to be a part of something larger than self. So you can see that both in the house and the sign placement. So let's do an example. Let's say someone has Uranus in their 12th house. So 12th house is about rest. It's about relaxation. It's about working behind the scenes and spirituality. So Uranus here is where the individual can perhaps approach spirituality or meditation or whatever in a very unique and very different way. And it's very important for them to honor their individuality in this sense. And this is where they can have freedom. So by not doing it in the status quo, by doing it in that unique and different way, they can have a tremendous freedom here. So again, it's about seeing how you can do that in a healthy sense. So again, whether it's meditation, whether it's working behind the scenes, this person can have a tremendous amount of spiritual freedom. Now, the sign characteristic, let's say Uranus in Scorpio, these would be individuals that their approach to freedom is very deep, perhaps instinctual, and there's a lot they can actually give and contribute and share in regards to these aspects of life. Even with the 12th house, these are very intuitive people that understand 12th house matters, spiritual things very deeply, and that's their gift in many ways. But also in the sign placement, the way in which they share, the way in which they give is in a very deep way, if it was Scorpio, in a very transformative way, and perhaps through healing and things like that. So you can see the sign is the way in which the individual does it, and the house placement would be the area of life. So that's pretty much it. Next time we'll talk about Neptune, which is much more about the receptive energies, going within and having that connection to the deeper aspects of life. But Uranus is very active. It's very much about change and where we can have freedom in a particular area and way. All right, so hope you guys have a good one. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.